So exciting. First, though, we do need to talk about the weather. Taking a live look right outside the station at Spear and Logan right now. Roads may be slick this morning following some rain overnight. We're going to see more showers down here this weekend. And then up high, a whole lot of snow. Take a look at this. A live look at the Eisenhower-Johnson tunnels. Already shows some fresh powder on the ground up there. And we saw some big flakes falling already this morning.
And it looks like we're also seeing some traffic impacts up there in the high country as well with some of the weather coming down.
Yeah,
of course,
top of the hour, they usually stage the hazmat vehicles. So they stop things at the tunnel and, let things get cleared out on the interstate. So that's what we're looking at.
Thank goodness Erica Lopez is here, everybody. We also got Corey Rose, Jordan Chavez, and Ed Green with you on this Friday. TGIF, my friends.
Happy Friday. And it's going to be a wet weekend.
Well, it's going to be wet down here, rain heavy at times, especially tomorrow. And then we have snow in the high country. We could see up to 18 inches of snow in some of these mountain locations over the weekend. So this is a big, wet, cold system coming our way. Cold, yes. Yesterday we were in the 70s. Today we'll be in the 60s. Not out of the 40s for tomorrow. And that's when we see the rain that could be heavy at times, showers and thunderstorms. But the good news is most of the severe weather is off to the east of us. So here's what we've got going on at Copper Mountain, as you can see right now. And at Arapahoe Basin, it's also snowing like crazy, although that seems like a frozen picture, and maybe rightfully so. As far as our temperatures go, 48 degrees is where we sit in Denver right now. Really kind of mild over the eastern plains with 40s and 50s. We look at 30s and 40s higher up, and we're seeing 50s out to the west. So mostly cloudy skies today, 68 degrees, chance for scattered showers and storms. Could even see a little break in the clouds early this morning into the afternoon hours, and then we see the rains begin to move in a little bit heavier. Tomorrow, 47 degrees, rain heavy at times. Very cool. 59 degrees on Sunday. We continue with the showers and a few scattered storms. Then it all moves out on Monday. And 69 degrees near 70 with sunny skies. A nice Tuesday, 73 degrees, plenty of sunshine. 74 on Wednesday, and an afternoon storm works its way back into the forecast.
Ed, thank you. Right now, we want to get you out the door. I do want to give you a heads up right now. Denver police on scene of a crash with serious injuries at 12th and Tamarack in Denver. So if you're going to be traveling in that way, there are definitely some impacts at the intersection there. 270 in York moving along nicely. 36 and Wadsworth moving along nicely. Nothing to worry about at 225 and DTC Boulevard. I-25 and 84th moving along as well. Let's bring you over to our map as you get ready to travel across our area. Right now, lots and lots of green, of course, as we were just looking at with those live looks. A different picture in the mountains for you right now. Of course, if you're going to be traveling on I-70 in the area of the Eisenhower-Johnson tunnel, we do have a temporary stop, which they typically do at the top of the hours to stage hazmat vehicles to get the interstate clear. So something to worry about there. But in our area, even with some wet roads, we're not seeing any issues. I-25 travel between 144th Avenue and 76 is in the green.
Erica, thank you. Today, the last person convicted in Elijah McClain's death is set to be sentenced. Jeremy Cooper, the former Aurora paramedic found guilty of criminally negligent homicide, is set to appear in front of a judge at 1:30 this afternoon.
9 News reporter Anusha Roy joins us now live from the Adams County Justice Center. Good morning, Anusha.
Good morning, Jordan. As far as we know, Jeremy Cooper could be facing anywhere from probation to up to 3 years in prison, depending on what the judge ultimately decides today. Cooper was the paramedic that administered the ketamine to Elijah McClain in August of 2019. This was after someone had called 911 about a man being, quote, suspicious, and police had stopped McClain and then put him in a carotid hold. McClain had done nothing wrong. Cooper's former supervisor, Peter Chikuniak, has already been sentenced to 5 years in the Department of Corrections, but that is because he was also found guilty of second-degree assault for unlawful administration of drugs as well as criminally negligent homicide. Cooper was only found guilty of criminally negligent homicide. The major difference between the two is the intent behind it, and that's why the sentencing range is so different.
Historically, criminally negligent homicide was a misdemeanor in Colorado. But a decade or so ago, our lawmakers decided that that just wasn't serious enough in a situation where an individual criminally caused death. When you're guilty of criminally negligent homicide, it means your actions were criminally negligent, not intentional.
You just heard from our legal analyst, Scott Robinson, who said that he is expecting to hear from Elijah McClain's family today, like we have after past court hearings. He also said it's possible that Cooper could share a statement as well, but it's yet to be seen how that plays out this afternoon. Out of the 5 people indicted, 1 former Aurora police officer was also found guilty, along with the 2 paramedics. Reporting live in Brighton, Anusha Roy, 9 News.
Yeah, we know it'll be a packed courtroom today as well. Everyone's watching this for sure. Anusha, thank you.
It is now 5:04, and there is still no verdict in the trial of a former Clear Creek deputy accused of murdering Christian Glass. A still undecided jury returns today. Now the question is whether former deputy Andrew Buin's actions that night were excessive and unreasonable. Glass called 911 for help after getting his car stuck in Silver Plume. He was panicked and having a mental health issue. Several officers engaged with him for more than an hour after they unsuccessfully tried to get Glass out of his car. Buin broke Glass's car window, shot him with beanbag rounds, and used a taser on him before shooting him 5 times in the chest. Buin's charged with second-degree murder.
The Castle Rock woman who killed a mother and son while driving drunk will now serve 20 years in prison. But the victim's family says 20 years is not enough. The crash happened 2 years ago on I-25 in Castle Rock. Amber Villarreal and her son Elijah were changing a tire on the side of the highway. A CSP trooper was parked behind them with emergency lights on, but it didn't stop 41-year-old Michelle Branch from driving drunk and hitting them. Branch was charged with 2 counts of vehicular homicide and DUI and will serve 20 years in prison. The max she could have gotten was 24, but Amber's sister says it's still not enough.
It's beyond me how that's such a short-term sentence. To me, that's not long enough. It's really, really a hard thing to live with.
In addition to the prison time, Branch will have to pay $20,000 in restitution.
New this morning, nearly 40,000 pairs of noise-reducing earmuffs have been recalled due to hearing loss concerns. It affects 3M's Peltor X4 series earmuffs. Regulators say that they can develop cracks, which can lead to reduced protection from loud noises. They were sold in the U.S. as well as Canada, and you can contact 3M for a replacement pair if you have them.
TikTok's Chinese parent company says it will not sell the social media platform as United States ban looms. This week, ByteDance denied plans to sell after reports surfaced it was exploring the sale of TikTok's U.S. business without the algorithm that recommends videos to users. TikTok's CEO says the company will fight in the courts to stay online in the U.S.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken continues his visit to China today. He met with the Chinese foreign minister and then the public security minister. Talks between the U.S. and China have increased in recent months, even as differences have grown. Those divisions were highlighted earlier this week when President Biden signed a massive foreign bill containing several elements the Chinese see as problematic.
The U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments in former President Trump's presidential immunity case this week.
That's right. Today in Manhattan, the former president's hush money trial continues. NBC's Bree Jackson has those details.
The U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments on whether former President Donald Trump is immune from prosecution in the federal case accusing him of plotting to overturn the 2020 election results.
If you don't have immunity, you just have a ceremonial president.
Prosecutors refute Trump's claims, arguing that the former president's actions were only for personal gain and should not be shielded from prosecution.
The framers knew too well the dangers of a king who could do no wrong.
Trump's legal team insists that his efforts to overturn the 2020 election were official acts taken in office, and without criminal immunity, a president cannot make controversial decisions without fear of being charged.
Without presidential immunity from criminal prosecution, there can be no presidency as we know it.
Liberal justices express concerns about a president having total immunity.
I'm trying to understand what the disincentive is from turning the Oval Office into, the seat of criminal activity in this country.
Conservative justices raised questions about how this ruling will impact the office of the presidency moving forward.
Will that not lead us into a cycle that destabilizes the functioning of our country as a democracy?
Former President Trump spent Thursday in a New York courtroom where he faces criminal charges of falsifying business records to cover up hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. He denies any wrongdoing. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.